Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be speaking about virginity. Yeah, you heard me right. We're going to be talking about celibacy, virginity. As a Christian, why are you keeping yourself? Why is it important to keep yourself? What is the necessity of all of that? We're going to be talking about that, and I'm also going to be debunking some popular celibacy myths. So let's get right into it. So the first myth I'm going to debunk is that um, virginity equals holiness. So if you're a virgin, it makes you holy. And I want to debunk this because growing up, I was told that the reason why God chose Mary is because she's holy. The reason why Mary was chosen of God, the reason why God chose Mary was because she was a virgin, of which is very true. The reason why it was important that the person who birthed Jesus had to be a virgin, but it wasn't her virginity that made her holy. The reason why it was important for her to be a virgin was because Jesus is the Son of God, and I will talk about that in another video. But Jesus is the Son of God, and for him to be born of God, he couldn't have been born of man. I mean, Jesus was coming to break a curse. Jesus coming had purpose. Jesus coming was to fulfill, a certain purpose, was to make sure that things were done right. And so Jesus's coming was important, that there was no sperm attached to it. There was no, like, he wasn't born of man, because if he was born of man, then he'll be following the line of Adam, and he'll be a part of the curse. But Jesus was coming to break this curse, and so it was important that it came it came from God. And that's why the Bible records that Mary's birth was supernatural, and the Holy Ghost came upon her, and then she had Jesus. That kind of vibe, right? So now, that means that it's not your virginity that makes you holy. What makes you holy is the Holy Spirit that you have on your inside. When you believe God, that is what makes you holy, not your virginity. Number 2 myth is that we believe that when you're a virgin, the more virgin you are, the better your marriage will be. So they tell you growing up that if you don't keep your virginity, you won't find good husband who will marry you. Over time, there's this narrative that society has peddled, that says that there's no husband for the wayward girl. Nobody wants to marry a shewo. Nobody wants to marry anybody that is going around. And I think it's very flawed. It's really flawed, because ultimately, in the time where we are now, that doesn't really work anymore, because you see people who are actively fornicating, people who are actively having sex and having great homes. And so we see people who over time have waited to have this sex and still don't have great homes. And then we see people who had sex and had great homes. And so that is why the narrative of when somebody enters a marriage and things begin to go wrong, they're crying and they're like, well, I kept myself, I was a virgin. But the fact that you kept yourself till the end doesn't guarantee by automatically like a good marriage or a good result. What guarantees a good marriage is effort and intentionality. You have to put in the work. You have to make up your mind to say, okay, this is what I want, and I want to make it work, and I want to make it good, and I want to make it right. So you have to put in the work. So it's not because you now kept yourself that now means that your marriage is going to be excellent. Doesn't mean that your marriage is going to be great. On the flip side, people always say, like, if I don't test, how will I know? The fact that I know a lot of people who have had sex and got married to their partners, and they always said that it was a different ball game when they married their partner, because I mean, no two human beings are the same. How many people do you want to test? Anyway, that's by the way. Moving on to the third myth that we're going to debunk. Now, this is the most important myth. This is the one that is most important to me, because it has messed with a lot of people, and that is that your value is tied to your hymen. I need you to say after me, my value is not tied to my hymen. I am not my hymen, right? You are not your hymen. Your value is not tied to your hymen. You are so much more. My God, you are so much more. And this is important to me because there are people who have, had sex in the past, and they've come to know Jesus, and they feel like God won't want them, and they feel like they're not important enough to God. They feel like they've messed up, and now that they are broken. I've heard somebody say, I'm broken and I don't think I can be fixed. And God is not as petty as we think. God is not the God that will say, you've eaten from the forbidden fruit, death by fire. He's not that God. That is not my Jesus, right? And so your value is not tied to your hymen. Actually, you keep yourself because you understand your value. Now let me explain that. So it's not by growing up they'll let you think that if you don't keep yourself, then you don't have value, you don't have worth. Anybody who has had sex is worthless. Anybody, and it's a very nonsense mentality, because this is what gives men the liver to some men, the liver. Because in this part of the world, actually in most parts of the world, when these celibacy, these talks on virginity are being preached, they only preach them to women. They don't preach them to the men. And so men now start to now have that weird mindset where you'd see a scenario where a man has slept around a lot, and then he's going, I can't marry somebody that slept around. Will you keep quiet? Anyways, and he's saying all that kind of thing, and then you now as a woman, you now start to feel like you don't have worth, you don't have this, and I'm here to tell you that your hymen is not your value. And the reason why you will keep yourself is because you are worth something. You are worth the precious blood of Jesus. You are the temple of God. Your body is a temple of God. And now having sex does not unmake your body the temple of God. But you treat it with honor because you know what it is. You treat it with respect because you understand what it is to have to house the entirety of God, what it is that God lives on my inside. So I'm conscious that God is living on my inside. I'm conscious that my body matters to him. I'm conscious that the one who designed sex, the one who said this is what sex is, has said I should wait. And if it's his design and he said to wait, then it is not flawed. If it is his design and he said to wait, there's no flaw. It's perfect. His plans are always perfect. His desires, his will, his way is always perfect. And that being said, your hymen is not the source of your value. You protect your gifts, right? You protect it because you know whose you are, and you know who you are, and you know that you matter, and you know that you're important, and you know that you matter too much to God to just act like somebody who is random. You're not random. Do you know who you are? So yeah, I just really wanted to say that it was really important for me to say all of that. Final myth is that virginity is only for girls. Please, when they wrote in the Bible, like every place where it was spoken to about casual sex and illicit sex and keeping the marriage bed undefiled, there was nowhere where it was said to only women. Please, male and female alike. I need us to keep the same energy for both male and female. So I don't know if there are any guys are watching this, but you need to keep your body as well. Same way the woman needs to keep her body, because the laws of God are not gender sensitive. Now, having said all this, why then do we need to keep our body? So I'm just going to share a couple of scriptures. They're going to slide across the screen. I want you to take your time. I want you to read them. I want you to ingest them. I want you to see what these are saying. Now, the reason why you keep yourself ultimately is that sex is such an intimate thing. It's such a personal thing. And like I said earlier, if the person who designed sex said his design for sex was within the context of marriage, then he knows what he's saying. And a lot of the time we see these things outside, but we don't really understand that there are implications to the things that you do, psychological implications, emotional implications, and most especially spiritual implications to the things that you do. So first and foremost, if someone were to come up to you now and ask you, why are you keeping yourself? Why are you saving yourself for marriage? For me, my answer is not going to be so that I'll have a good marriage. My answer is not going to be because it makes me holy. My answer is not going to even be that because that's what they've told. Because some people are just giving themselves because that's what they've told them over time. They feel like there's the moral of good and evil, and you have to be on either side. And the downside to that is the fact that when they see that they can do it and get away with it, they do it more often, and then people are lost because of it. But for me, I'm keeping myself because now I understand value. I understand that Paul said in Galatians 2:20 that, I have been crucified with Christ, and the life that I live now, I live by faith in the Son of God, paraphrased. But he's trying to say, like, I understand now that my body is not my own. My life is not my own. When I said yes to Jesus, I surrendered my all. And surrender is not partial. Surrender is not half. Like, I didn't half give myself. I'm giving all of me. I'm giving my entirety. And that means submitting and surrendering myself means it's a consciousness on my mind that all that I am is all that is, like, it belongs to him. So the entirety of me is his, right? And if this is his body, I'm going to treat it as such. If this is his temple, I'm going to treat it as such. That means that it's not for desecration. My body is not to be given lightly. I understand that I hold something precious. There are all these analogies that come into my head, but I don't even want to use any of these analogies because I don't want to give the wrong impression. But your body, you are precious. You are valued. You are loved of the Father. And having sex is not going to make you any less loved. But because you understand who you and whose you are, because you understand how loved you are, because you understand how precious your body is, I hope that you treat it as such. I hope that after this video, you are reminded of what you carry, of who, like, do you understand what it means that the people of Israel, how they went from the tabernacle to the temple? It was such a big deal. When they were going into war, they would carry the Ark of Covenant because they understood there was a certain sanctity where Uzzah, like, the Ark of the Covenant was falling, and this guy tried to pick it up, and he was smitten. That was the kind of reverence they gave to this thing. That was the kind of respect that I had. Treat your body as such. And to think that as much as they revere those things, as much as they honor these things, as much as they valued those things, they weren't, like, the Bible still says that, I'll put the verse here. The Bible still says that God did not live. He didn't dwell there. The Holy Spirit came upon them at times, different times in the Old Testament, but he wasn't living there. But now the entirety of the fullness of Godhead is living on your inside. Do you know what that means? This is why we keep ourselves. This is why we hold ourselves. This is why we save ourselves for marriage. So when you're saving yourself, you're not saving yourself for your partner. You're not doing your partner a favor. So it's not I save myself. So you start looking at your partner and you're expecting your partner to give you a certain award for saving yourself. No, you're doing it unto God first before any other thing. I hope this video encouraged you. I hope this video taught you something. I hope that you know that if you've watched this video and you feel like, oh, I've had sex, how do I find my way back? I know that it will be a struggle. I know that it might be hard, but I know people who have done this, and I know that God is a perfect God, and he never does anything halfway. And so if you come to God and say, God, this is who I am, but now I want to honor you with my body. God, I have done this and I've done that, and I want to honor you with my body. He's not going to push you away and say, get thee behind me. He's not that kind of God. He's going to welcome you and say, come home. He's going to welcome you and say, thank you for coming. And he's going to, the Bible says that the Spirit of God works in us to will and to do. And so he's going to, the salvation is a miracle of changed desires, of a transformed heart. And so he's going to work on both your desires and give you the strength to now keep yourself. So he's able to keep you. He's able to strengthen you and keep you waiting. And this is not to say that conjugal won't come. Sorry. This is not to say that you won't get urges. This is not to say that you won't be tempted. So when I'm talking, you're like, well, you will be tempted. But, do you know again who you are? You're more than a conqueror. You can beat this. We can beat this. So hands up for the, I'm saying rubbish. Anyways, I hope that you were blessed by watching this video. I really love you guys, and it's my desire that you continue to grow in the will of the Father. And yeah, so you know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up if you really liked it, share it, and yeah, encourage anybody that you think needs to see this video. And please don't forget to subscribe, my loves. Please subscribe, it's important. Okay, see you in my next video.